Hi guys, welcome to another one. So this is Marvel Future Fight. So there has been a lot of talk about the tier 3 that is already out, Captain America, and the potential 2 tier 3s that are soon to be coming out with the next update, which is Iron Man and Spider-Man, right? So they already have the Infinity War uniforms. That's good for them. At tier 2, they are monsters. They are beasts. I don't have them myself, but then again, I have been observing the word on the street. So for today, I just thought I should maybe concentrate on, because this is how I test out my characters. If you guys have watched my previous videos, tier 3 Captain America. If some of your characters, like your Quicksilvers, Jean Grey unfortunately for this week has been barred, but then if some of your meta changing characters, for example your Jean Greys, your Quicksilvers, your Apocalypses, your Thanos, can hold their own against a tier 3 Captain America, can you imagine then what is going to happen when those characters, your Thanos, your Jean Grey, your Quicksilver, finally get the tier 3s? It is going to be absolutely insane. So right now at the moment, it is kind of difficult to get your Captain America to tier 3. And when I say difficult, I am talking about even the veteran players that have been complaining about the tremendous and enormous amount of resources you need to build up and to hoard in order to to tier 3 your Captain America. And it begs the question, because again, it's the same notion in the community. People are saying, or people have kind of the same unanimous train of thought, that if Captain America costs this much for a tier 3, imagine firstly what a character like Thanos is going to cost in order for you to tier 3 him, right? With that in mind, if a Thanos right now can hold his own against the Captain America tier 3, it means that when Thanos comes out with his tier 3, he is going to be even more of a beast. If Jean Grey comes out and she has a tier 3, she is going to be even more of a beast. So that's something to really take into mind and to take cognizance of. Yes, it's amazing that Captain America, Iron Man, and Spider-Man are getting their tier 3s now. They cost a lot, an arm and a leg. So if you are a player that is just starting out in the game, think about it that way. Rather save your resources as much as you can, and then wait for a tier 3 that you have your eyes set on, a tier 3 that you have your sights set on. For example, if a Thanos comes out, then you know you have more than enough resources to tier 3 him. So for sure, we will definitely get Thanos at tier 3, because it seems like the more specifically the Infinity War characters and heroes and villains, obviously, are being concentrated on and are being looked at by Netmarble. So obviously Thanos will be getting his tier 3, because you look at it this way: Iron Man Blast, Spider-Man Speed, and Captain America Combat. So most likely the next character would be Universal, and obviously Universal, the concentration being on the Avengers, it will probably be Thor. You know what I mean? But then it does not take away the potential and the possibility that Thanos will be getting a tier 3 soon enough. So if you guys are finding it difficult to tier 3 your Captain America, for example, now you get an Iron Man that it has a tier 3 available, a Spider-Man that has a tier 3 available. Obviously, if you get enough resources, you're gonna opt out from tier 3 in Captain America, then you would opt to tier 3 your Iron Man, or you would opt to tier 3 your Spider-Man. So those are things to look at for guys that are starting to play the game. I think it is unfair for them, because some of these material you actually need to farm world boss ultimate stages in order to get a significant amount of these characters, or any, if at all. So it is a bit unfair for guys that are just starting to play out the game, where they are just struggling to tier 2 characters, let alone now taking it from tier 2 to tier 3. I think for me that is pretty much unfair. But then I guess Netmarble has a bigger outlook onto this, a bigger outlook on this. They kind of envisioned how they would gradually take the community and the players step by step into this whole tier 3 absorption. So for now it is not that bad because it's only Captain America, and even when you do get to face Captain America in the game itself, it is, should I say easy? No, it's not easy. He is an amazing character right now with his tier 3, but then you do stand a chance, guys. So what I'm doing now, I'm actually looking for Captain America tier 3 because there have been a lot of them. A lot of the guys have already tier 3 their Captain Americas, and they have been available, or their player stats have been available in timeline battle. So I have come up against a few, so I just thought I'd leave my last 4 entries just for this post so that you guys can kind of get an idea of what you can do against Captain America. And for me right now, for where my game is, Captain America is not really necessary. I am farming the World Boss Ultimate, but then I am not dead set on tier 3 in Captain America. I think my outlook, personally and honestly, guys, is waiting for Thanos to get his tier 3, because I think when it comes to game changing characters, your Jean Greys, your Apocalypse, your Dormammu at some point, your Scarlet Witch, the one that is most likely to get a tier 3 before all of them is Thanos, simply because of the Infinity War movie. So that is something to also think about. So unfortunately, I'm not finding a tier 3 Captain America. I don't know why, because I'm on 2400 selection and I should be getting a tier 3 Captain America by this time. I've actually fought a lot of them. I've actually went up against a lot of them, and I did not do too bad. I managed to hold my own, even though he did manage to just maul over all 3, and I would probably make it with my last Quicksilver or my last Thanos. So yes, but I did manage to find some of them, but it seems like we are not finding them. But I just wanted to show you guys exactly what the predicament is currently with regards to the tier 3. Yes, there is a lot of hype around it. Yes, the character does become significantly tankier after being tier 3, but it is not a must. And I think, okay, yes, we found one. It is not necessarily something that you have to do right off the bat, and I think Netmarble were very considerate also when it comes to that, not making tier 3 in any way or form a dependable aspect when it comes to playing the game. You do not really require a tier 3 to move on with the game or to move to certain stages. They were very thoughtful because they kind of kept into mind also that not a lot of people would have the resources to immediately tier 3. Okay, that was a mistake. I'm immediately going to switch to Spider-Man. To immediately tier 3 characters, especially with the amount of resources it requires. So yes, they were very thoughtful with regards to that. They didn't just spring up 157 tier 3s available for all of the characters. I think that strategy, or that modus operandi on their part, I give full kudos to them, because they were very thoughtful. They did not spring up tier 3s for everyone, and I think everyone would have just panicked. Imagine now 157 characters have to be tier 3, but it takes like a month or a few months to tier 3 just one character. That would have been insane. That would have been madness. So yes, right now my tier 2 Spider-Man is fighting against a tier 3 what's his face, a tier 3 Captain America, and they are not doing too bad. They are not doing too bad. Cap is insane with his healing and everything else, but there you go. With your team effort, then you can manage. You do manage to kind of hold your own when it comes to beating him. I regret that Wolverine is in this stage, because basically I just wanted to see how I do against Captain America, and I do not have my Doctor Strange in this team. Doctor Strange is normally the one that can just time freeze him and then be able to deal with him efficiently, but he becomes a pain when you do not have a time freezer. So yes, the when it comes to Captain America, yes, I did struggle because it took Quicksilver, who nearly died, but Quicksilver was really almost killed by the opponent's Thanos. So it took Quicksilver that nearly died, it took Spider-Man, and it took Thanos to actually get rid of Captain America. If I had said that a few months ago or about a year ago, people would have straight out laughed at me, because that was insane just to even think of, you know what I mean. I know there was a video at some point when Doctor Strange was still one of the best characters. Someone brought out a video. I think they had like a Wasp leadership Groot in the team and the new Captain America uniform, and Captain America was actually holding their own. But people were saying that if it was not for Groot, if it was not for Wasp, then Cap would not have stayed alive. But right now, Captain America becomes a problem for your Thanos with his uniform, for your Spider-Man with his uniform, for your Quicksilver. So that is insane, because Quicksilver can easily take down your Jean Greys and all of the other significant characters in the game. So to think that Captain America now is actually a lot better than all of those characters is insane. But yes, I did manage to come up against a team that had Captain America and Wolverine, and I still managed to come out on top. So this whole tier 3 thing should not be a pressure point. I think that's why Netmarble is also releasing one at a time, two at a time, because they do not want to put that much pressure on players, whether you are spending money on the game or not. They do not want to put that sort of pressure on the players. They do not want anyone to panic. They are gradually easing us into this phase of the game. So think about it as Netmarble being a gentle lover, guys. Like the foreplay is essential. They are taking their time with us, and they are easing us into it. They are not just hitting us and bombarding us with this huge amount of tier 3 players that are available to be taken to the next level. No, they are doing it one at a time, two at a time, which I think is very considerate. So that's something that you should keep in mind. For now, here's another tier 3 Captain America. Oh man, but Wolverine is in there. I hate the fact that Wolverine is in there. So let us give it another shot with a tier 3 Captain America. But more often than not, you do come out on top, especially with the characters that you do have. But the one mistake that you do make, or if Captain just gets a slight chance, and I'm talking about seconds here, guys, literally seconds, then you are doomed. He does too much damage in a short space of time, then you are extremely doomed. So Thanos was the one that actually gave me a chance against Wolverine, so I do not really want to exhaust my Thanos. But then sometimes coming up against a Thanos, Wolverine is the only one to use. So yes, Captain America is back. Let's see if Quicksilver can do this on his own. He does not have the added disadvantage of having suffered against the first Thanos, so hopefully he will not do too bad. So the one thing that I've seen is that as much damage as you can get in, sometimes Cap does regenerate fully. So you would think that you have him pinned down, you have the game won, but then he just somehow regenerates. So that's one aspect that I did not like about it. But yes, Quicksilver manages to get rid of him, and Thanos manages to get rid of him. I think Spider-Man, given time and obviously an awesome build, would still be able to deal with a tier 3 Captain America. So for me, guys, it's a no-brainer. I would rather wait for a Thanos tier 3, save a lot of resources, than just go and tier 3 the first available character that they have brought to us to tier 3. You know what I mean? That's just the way I'm looking at it now. So I've fought against Captain America tier 3 twice now, and both those times I did manage to win, even though it is not an entirely easy fight. And remember, you also have to keep into consideration, guys, when it comes to my characters, the build is not entirely awesome, because I am a free to play gamer at the moment. When it comes to Netmarble Future Fight, I'm not spending a lot of money on the game. So take that into consideration, that my Thanos uniform, for example, is at rare and building up now. My Spider-Man uniform, I think, is normal, and obviously Quicksilver does not have a uniform. So keep all of those things in mind, and the fact that against a tier 3 Captain America, I am still holding my own. That should say a lot as to what if Quicksilver gets his tier 3? What if Thanos gets his tier 3? That should immediately tell you a lot that no, definitely then it would have been worth the wait for you to, I don't know, wait a few more weeks, a few more days for a different tier 3, a preferable tier 3. So let us go ahead. I think I'm gonna keep Thanos on this one because I do not need to worry about a Thanos killing off my Thanos. But then Thanos just died. Okay, okay. Now I'm starting to eat my own words, but then that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. Let's see how far we can get. So there is a Quicksilver in this team out of love for my Quicksilver to actually be alive to deal with the Thanos in the game, with the Quicksilver in the game or from this opponent. But then that is not possible. And Thanos, I think, does a lot better against Captain America at the moment because he's the only one that deals enough damage to take him down very quickly. But then yeah, it seems to have worked. So I use the fourth skill normally because if the other guy gets a chance to use the fourth skill against you and you're both using Quicksilvers, more often than not you will die because that fourth skill deals a lot of damage. And if Thanos jumps into his fifth skill, then I am the one that's doomed. And obviously Spider-Man would not stand that much of a chance against a Thanos, especially when he jumps into his fifth skill. But then yes, anyways, my point is, or the point of this post, guys, and I'm just going to probably do one more fight. That's if I still have an entry left. Tier 3 Captain America at the moment, we are still able to deal with him with the characters that you have available. So do not think about this tier 3 thing as Netmarble trying to, I don't know, endeavor into money grabbing and into actually sinking their claws into people's wallets. No, if they wanted to do that, they would have done all those 150 plus characters. They would have given them the tier 3 availability, but they haven't. They are gradually easing us into it. So I think that's a good thing. That's one thing that you should look at. That's one thing you should not pressure yourself about, is tier 3 characters. So I think obviously with the availability of tier 3s growing, then you will be able to get better characters being tier 3, which I think will be a plus if you have waited. So for me, I'm a patient guy. I mean, I waited that long for Jean Grey, and I waited that long for your Thanos, and I do not mind waiting. But for the time being, I'm still going to keep up that grind as if I want to tier 2 a character tomorrow, as if I'm working to tier 2 a character within the week. I am going to keep up that grind. But as for the tier 3s that have come out now, Captain America, Spider-Man, and Iron Man, I think I'm good, especially after the update does come out and after those characters are available. I would love to put my words against one of those new tier 3s like your Spider-Mans and your Iron Mans and see how I do. And if I do manage, I'm not going to put too much pressure on myself because not a lot of people will have them at tier 3. I mean, even now I am searching for a tier 3 Captain America, but then I am still struggling because simply people are not that they are taking too long, not that they are lazy, but it is the enormity of the effort to tier 3 a character right now is just way too much. So for me, yes guys, I just honestly want to, I'm hoping the next team will be tier 3 Captain America. No, so I am not finding a tier 3 Captain America for my last joust. I hope I do. I am going to put positive vibes to the universe. I know I am going to find a Captain America at tier 3 very soon. Okay, no luck yet. So yes guys, that's honestly one thing to consider for me. That is what I am considering. I hate this Wolverine team. It rubs me up the wrong way. Darn it. if I could find a team that does not have Wolverine, that would have been so much better. But then yes, this is the last round. I don't know, you guys give me your opinion. And with regards to my timeline battles right now, I'm not even focusing on the combinations, on the move list, or on coordinating them properly. I'm just really getting in there and then doing my best, or doing as much damage as I can. So Thanos again, I don't like when my Thanos gets killed off in the oh wow, everyone is getting killed off. Oh no. If he gets into that fifth skill, and he does get you with that fifth skill, like you are doomed. So I do not like getting caught up in that. So yes, Quicksilver versus Captain America again at tier 3. Let's see how we do this time. I do not have the support or the time freezing of your Thanos, sorry, of your Spider-Man with his webs. I do not have the support of Thanos with his damage output. So this is just Quicksilver and Captain America alone. This is going to be insane. This is going to be I think for me, personally, I just want to get rid of Captain America, and then say that I'm done. Then I could just right then and there stop the game. But then I have to continue through the torment of trying to kill a Wolverine with a Quicksilver, which more often than not does not happen. So I think this round will take a bit too long, or I will have to stop it eventually. But then yes, Wolverine, I never have hopes of, even from my previous videos, of killing Wolverine, and that was before this brand new uniform. I'm talking about from his first uniform. I never had any hopes of, I don't know, undoing Wolverine in timeline battle, because that never happens. His heal is just way too much. And that's another thing. So against a tier 3 Captain America, the way he heals kind of seemed like the way Wolverine would heal, but that's still, his tier 3 healing capability does not compare to a tier 2 Wolverine healing capability. So imagine when Wolverine now gets a tier 3. So that's the kind of logic that I'm applying to these 2 consecutive updates, or to these tier 3 releases. That's one thing that you should look at. The meta shifting characters are always going to remain meta shifting characters. Jean Grey does not even have a uniform yet, but she's still a problem. Quicksilver does not have a uniform yet, but he's still a problem, even for the tier 3 character. So you can imagine when they get their tier 3s, what havoc is going to be wreaked in the game. So yes guys, that's for me. I did manage to beat Captain America in all the instances that I came up against him on. So I'm still good. I'm still good in waiting, but it does not mean that I'm waiting idly by. I'm waiting, but I am still grinding for that tier 3 status. I'm still grinding for those resources, as if I'm going to tier 3 a character tomorrow. So that's what I will keep on doing. I just basically wanted to show you guys that tier 3 Captain America is absolutely, I'm not gonna say vulnerable, but it is possible to beat him. It is not far-fetched at all. It is possible to beat him still with your tier 2 characters. So it is not that much of a big deal, and kudos to Netmarble once again for being considerate when it came to that part, because if they had made tier 3s compulsory requisite for some of the probably gaming modes and whatnot, I think it would have killed the game for a lot of people that might not necessarily be able to tier 3 characters as quickly as others would, or as others do. So 1 minute and 7 seconds is way too much to spend waiting for Wolverine to either die, or for time to run out while your health bar is higher than his. So this is madness. This is insanity. And remember, with Wolverine also it's the same thing. One mistake that you make and he manages to get his 6th skill. No, Wolverine is not tier 3 yet. His 5th skill in, you are more often than not, you are dead, because that 5th skill deals way too much damage, and a lot of the characters in the game currently cannot handle that 5th skill. So yes, Wolverine obviously is not dying. This is a waiting game, 24 seconds to see if he will regenerate enough to beat my health bar. If he gets some damage in right now, I am not going to be able to heal quick enough to get my health bar to 100%. So the game is as good as his, but I'm going to apply as much damage as I can with the last few seconds, and yes, hopefully and consequentially I will have the victory. But then yes, that was painful, and I never like going up against Wolverine in timeline battle when I don't have my Doctor Strange, guys. I do not like that. He is available, yes, but then that's the team that I have been using currently for my timeline battle. So there you have it. The tier 3s, you can beat them even though you are not at tier 3 yourself yet. That is possible to beat them with your tier 2 characters. So take your time when it comes to making decisions on tier 3 characters and which tier 3s you would like to do, and do not put pressure on yourself or do not stress yourself out when it comes to tier 3 characters, because that is not the intention that Netmarble has. But guys, for the video, until next time.